You guys good?
Yeah.
Just what was the focus of practice today? How do you feel like it went?
I thought today's practice was great. I think there was a focus on just creating offense, stepping into shots with confidence, execution. Those small pieces, what we really honed in on today.
Yeah, obviously, I was talking with Jonathan a little bit ago from the last game with Steven Adams, the rebounding. Houston's good at that, but when you get out rebounded in that fashion, is that something you work on in practice like this, or
you finish drills? You finish every drill with a rebound, making that a focus. Understanding it's not just on the bigs to get those rebounds. A lot of times it's the guards rebounding in that free throw line area. Long shots sometimes equal long rebounds, but again, it's not always just on the bigs. So our ability to collectively rebound and as a team is going to be very important as we continue to move forward.
There you go. Do you feel like you guys have been defending without fouling better lately, or is it still something like more of a work in progress?
I think that's going to be a work in progress. Understanding, how the league is calling calls now, understanding where we can be physical and then where we've just got to back off. A lot of that has to do also with our weak side rotations being in early, so those guys aren't getting all the way to the rim. So we're not swiping down at the wrong time. So our ability just to keep guys in front, understand personnel, and know exactly how we're guarding, where we're guarding out on the floor.
When Jalen went down and it was known that he was down for the rest of the year, you talked about knowing the roles of the team. Obviously the starters are who they are, but when it comes to the second unit, how much of that is still a work in progress or just based on the matchup? And sometimes it's Caleb, sometimes it's Gary. We've seen Jet. Just do you want to find more consistency in that, or are you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be based on matchup, certain situations, certain games. Whether you're playing a veteran type team that you need to hone in, focus on that game plan specifically for certain guys. Then it'll depend on if you're playing a speed game. I think it's going to be based on matchup in a lot of ways, but also just understanding what guys are capable of doing in these certain games.
Did everybody make it through practice okay? And beyond Jalen and Mo, obviously, what is the health of this team overall at this point in the year?
Well, you're never fully walking into these last games fully healthy. Everybody's got nicks, bruises, and bumps, and so you're just understanding that are you injured or are you hurt? And I think these guys are playing through a bunch of bumps and bruises, but I think they're able to continue to go through. Cole was not all the way through practice, but again, his ability just to do some things on the floor, I think is going to be good just as we continue to ramp this thing up down this back stretch. Thank you.
Coming into this game on tomorrow, actually, what did you guys take away from that Houston game and kind of replicate or wanted to work on today?
When I went back and watched the game, I feel like it was definitely an offensive stall that we had, kind of in that third and fourth quarter. We held that team under 100, like I said in the press. So, I feel like it was a pretty good defensive game. I think today we just worked on just getting up shots, building everyone's confidence to, take those shots when you're open. So I think that's something that we just got to continue to build on. We one of the best defenses in the league. It's the offensive side that we just continuing to build. So hopefully we peak at the right time.
How impressed have you been with Franz's defense?
Franz is a competitor. Both sides of the ball. So when even back to that Milwaukee game, when I saw he was guarding Dame, I was like, okay, we're giving ourselves a really good chance tonight. With this length, his attention to detail. He's not the fastest player on the court. He's not the strongest, but his IQ is probably the highest out of most guys on the court. So, he understands the game. He understands, how Dame likes to play, how certain guys like to play, and then when he matches up against them, he uses it to his advantage.
Length has always been an advantage for you guys collectively. Do you feel like when you have a guy like Franz in the perimeter, does that just make it even better from that standpoint?
Yeah, it makes it easier. It makes it easier for the back line, knowing that you don't have to help as much. Sometimes maybe he may be a little bit beat. With his length, he can maybe get to a ball, get to a block, alter a shot. It's very unique when you have a guy like that who's able to guard basically 1 through 5. So, he makes it a lot easier for everybody else on the court.
Now, when you were at Duke, do you remember Zion coming in for visits? And have you built like a friendship?
Nah, he never came in. I've talked to him a couple times. We're cool, but he never came in while I was there. Nah.
Franz, you've been having to take on more defensive challenges lately. What's been your mentality from a defensive standpoint?
Honestly, just taking on a challenge. I think that's it's always a good challenge going against, especially really good guards. And I think it's something that I take pride in to play both ends and make an impact on that side of the floor as well. So yeah, just try to get better with it, and also learn from those guys how they play.
How different is it guarding someone in the backcourt versus maybe a front court player?
Yeah, it's obviously more on ball, a little bit less off ball in positional defense, and I think the focus shifts more to knowing what their tendencies are, how they draw fouls and stuff like that. Obviously a lot more pick and roll, getting over screens, stuff like that.
Has defense always been something that you've excelled at going back to your youth? I mean, is this something that you've always been really devoted to?
I would just say that my coaches from a young age, they taught me just how, to win the game, you got to be, or even just to get into the game, you got to be good on defense as well. And I think with my size and where I can move, I think that's, if you have the right mentality, I think that's all you need.
When it comes to contesting shots, your length obviously plays a big factor. How do you kind of time it? I mean, what's kind of the mentality when it comes to making sure you're timing it at the right moment?
I think just now it's my 4th year, just understanding what a good shot in the NBA is, and what shots you want to kind of have them to take. So, I think sometimes it comes down to just being disciplined and not trying to be perfect out there, and just living with sometimes contested twos instead of trying to guess that they're going to shoot and then they get you up and get a foul or something like that. So just learning those things, and then like I said, knowing the tendencies of a player.
What was practice like today? What do you think you guys got out of that?
Yeah, I think it was good. Really good vibes. We competed a little bit, but overall it was just getting back on the court, obviously after a tough game in Houston, and trying to get our good vibes back.
Thanks.